Never happens. My students are always engaged. What do I do? I think we talked about this before. My feeling is, in general, is that in order to keep engagement up, first of all, you try to make lesson plans that are engaging. So you try to think about that before you write your lessons and do that. And then if I think students are just being disengaged for whatever reason because of prior distractions, I usually just try to talk to them.
Well, it sort of depends on if like everybody seems disengaged or if it's just maybe one or two kids. Because if it's one or two kids, they could just be having a bad day. If it's everybody, then you kind of have to backtrack and figure out, is it something that's just not interesting? Is it something that doesn't make sense? And it depends obviously on, like, you know, I would treat a 6th grade class different than I'd treat a senior class if they're disengaged.
Yeah.
But mostly you have to kind of try and figure out, like, or usually it's because they're just not understanding, or I'm not getting through.
Okay.
It depends on the student and what's going on. Sometimes I call on them because I can just see they're drifting off, and so I kind of try to bring them back in, or I go over and check on them and sort of try to get them back engaged with the group if it's sort of one person straying. If a lot of students are disengaged, then I try to change the format of the class.
First of all, like for middle school, I feel like I need every minute structured. Any unstructured time in middle school is just a recipe for disaster. And then when you're teaching middle schoolers, you have to be like, pull out your pencil, look at the top page, write this next to it. You have to be like so specific.
In middle school, you can't do anything for an extended period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so if I've got a 90-minute period, we're probably doing at least 4 different things in that period. So that helps those kids because they're not just doing like, okay, we're reading for an hour and a half. They could never do that. But so that change of pace oftentimes helps.
Well, with high school, we cover a lot more content usually. So I have to build a lesson that's going to be able to cover all of the content that I want to teach. Usually with middle school, it's pretty easy to cover the amount of content in the time allowed. Let's see, with middle school, because I have more time usually to cover the information, and because middle schoolers tend to be a little more antsy and have shorter attention spans, I try to build in a lot more sort of activities. I try to change it up more. I try to do, say, maybe 2 or 3 different activities in a class period.
How do I get them interested in the subject? Well, first of all, I feel like as a teacher, you have to be interested in your subject, or you should be. So you being interested in it to begin with always helps. And then picking stuff that's fun. So how do I get my kids interested in physics? We talk about cool things and do cool stuff and
Like
have
cool lungs.
like cool lungs. Yes.
Well, I mean, writing's really important, right? And so we have to get them interested in our subject. So I know one of the ways in humanities is if you get to know kids really well and you can kind of relate to them with things that they like. Not that that's like contrived or anything, but because we do actually like to get to know kids, but giving them some choice sometimes.
Well, I usually try by telling them the stuff I'm interested in, because I think if a teacher's excited about something, then that often grabs student attention. I often try to elicit what they know about the subject so that they can tell me what they think and what their and that usually will bring out their interest.
Biggest fear. Well, I feel like teachers get afraid that they don't know the subject, but if I'm subbing for French, I don't feel like I'd be afraid I didn't know French, because who would expect me to know French? Like, it would just be a ridiculous thought that students would think that I would know that subject.
Well, so obviously it's not knowing the material, right? So I feel like, contrary to your class, which is hard to control, I actually have pretty decent classroom management. So that's not my issue ever.
Okay, so maybe my biggest fear would be classroom management then.
Okay.
But maybe not knowing it, because I just wouldn't know it, right? Like,
If I don't know much about the information, then I don't have a lot of credibility in the classroom. And so students aren't necessarily going to follow my directions, or that would be my fear, that they wouldn't really pay attention or follow directions because, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I am a hands-on learner. That's why my class is structured like hands-on learning in general. What's funny in college is I like lectures, and I think the reason why I like lectures though is because I don't have to think or listen that much. So that might not mean that I learn better that way. That just probably means that I can like halfway sleep through a lecture, and it was enjoyable because I didn't have to pay attention. But
Well, I am absolutely I cannot read a textbook and learn. So, like in college, for example, I was I'm an auditory learner.
Okay.
So I can go to a lecture and take notes on the lecture, and I'll learn it 100% better than if I just read a textbook. I can't read a textbook and learn. I mean,
Probably more of a reader.
Okay.
And probably reading more than anything. As a kid, I would say as a kid, I learned a lot through reading. When I got to college, I really liked lectures.
videos are terrible. Don't take them. I don't know. We're in a video right now. This seems weird.
I think it's great. I'm not very good at it because, I'm just, I'm old. And so I don't necessarily keep up with and search for good videos for my class. I would like to do more of that because I think it's a great way to get students interested.
well, it depends how you use them. So, I mean, the way we use them in humanities a lot is when we do Shakespeare, lots and lots and lots of clips. We haven't done that with you guys yet, but like when I teach Romeo and Juliet, tons of clips, just so that you can actually see how it's meant to be.
Using videos during research. We watch videos like every day, don't we?
Yeah.
I think they're important to use. It is weird. I feel like there's a bigger push to use videos now, and there are some teachers that are like more old school that don't use videos, which I think is bad because you guys go home and watch them. And I feel like, why wouldn't we show them to you? They're much better. Like some of them are way better than my lectures anyways, because they like have cool effects.